Hi, everybody, and welcome to week 2 of our class. I just wanted to give you kind of an overview of what we'll be doing this week. The topic is the writing process, but as with all things in writing that's discursive and reflective, starting one week with the writing process is sort of impossible to talk about only the writing process and nothing else. So we'll be really looking at all aspects of the writing process and then kind of coming back to it later on. I have some notes here that I'm just going to refer to. I posted 2 pieces of reading for you this week. One of them is an article about using technology online, specifically blogs and Nings for teaching writing, and they've got some interesting ideas in there. I wanted to just hit on a few of them. One of them that I thought was important is the aspect of partnership and collaboration. The writers of that article talk about how they encourage their students to collaborate and partner up while they're brainstorming ideas and also working on their computers. And I think that's an important part of the writing process. It's not always that it's easy for teachers to forget. They also mention peer review, and in fact, the other piece of reading that you're going to do talks a little bit about peer review as well. The important thing being guided peer review, having kids just look at each other's work with no guidance just basically leads to them saying good job or not having any specific comments or suggestions. When I do peer review, it's very specific. We do rounds, and each round is guided towards a specific skill or something that I want to make sure students are practicing and seeing in their writing. So the way that they describe it in all 3 of these is different, so you can pay attention to that. And then in this, specifically in the internet one, they talk about the use of blogs. The way that they are talking about it, they have younger kids, and this is also an ESL, EFL classroom they're talking about, but almost everything they talk about is specifically um, referring to, or it could be used with all different kinds of students, not specifically referring to that population. Anyway, back to the blogs. They talked about how they had their students upload essays that they had written to a blog site. And I have also done that, and I have found it to be very ineffective, mostly because the essay's already done, and the kids are not picking their own topic at this point, and they're not that whole pride issue isn't there. So I actually have my seniors blogging. They can choose any topic they want. So I will link my seniors blogs to this class. They're done now, but you can look at some of what they wrote before. The other article is actually a study that was done comparing these 2 classrooms. I mean, I think it was a bigger study than just these 2 classrooms, but they highlight this in the report. Mrs. Gonzalez and Mrs. Barrera, and the 2 teachers, one of them had participated in a writing workshop, I think predicated on the National Writing Workshop or the National Writing Project workshop styles, and the other one had not. I do have some questions about their findings, not necessarily what they found, but more about their study, because they talked about how the people involved in the workshop have kind of a different approach, as you might imagine. But what I'm wondering is if those aren't just the kind of people who would have had a different approach, and that's why they ended up in a workshop like that to begin with. So wondering if that's actually caused by being in the workshop, or it's just enhancing what those teachers naturally would have done. I also feel like this study makes some suggestions about what approach is better, and I feel like I need to defend Mrs. Gonzalez some because I think that some of what she does is solid in her classroom, but I also really like Miss Barrera's approaches. So I think, I'll let you decide that for sure, and that's what the second forum is all about, is just having you reflect on the things that you read, especially those 2 teachers, and and think about how that connects to how you might want to teach writing in your own classroom. So hopefully this was good, and I will check in with you as the week progresses. Have a great week.